Hello everyone, welcome back to Crypto Gains for another video. You can hear my voice, it's going. Too much shouting. In this video, we're going to take a look and a big talk about the Bored Apes virtual land that they recently launched. Guys, grab a coffee, pause this, come back and sit down. We need to talk. I can hear my voice going, but I need to discuss this with you. There's a lot to talk about. Before I go any further, I need to let you know, my opinions on this is not financial advice. These are just my personal opinions on Bored Apes. So please do your further research before you invest your money, if you're going to. Now, there's a lot to discuss. Did I say if it sounds interesting, drop that like? I don't think I said it. Anyway. More than $157 million worth of Ether permanently destroyed. Why? Because the ETH fees went absolutely sky high when people were trying to buy this Bored Ape land. And a lot of people that spent $2,000, $3,000 lining up because they had this, like, you know, everybody that had a Bored Ape was able to get in early, like a whitelist, right? But some people that had Bored Apes were lining up because there was too many people that were already in, kind of thing, trying to, you know, already get their Bored Ape land. The other side deed is what they call it. And over here, like, because, you know, I got a lot of things to show you right here, the other side deed. So, you know, if you're now interested in grabbing some, I'll drop the link to this in the description. It takes you straight here. You can buy it. I didn't buy none. I've just been sitting back watching. And in a sense, I'm glad I didn't buy at the start because I would have ended up paying thousands of dollars in fees, in ETH gas fees. And there would have been a slight chance that I wouldn't have got a single deed. So, you know, this was just a disaster in my eyes. I just got to keep it real. And on top of that, like, you know, like a week prior to this, or a week and a half, they had this disaster with Bored Apes NFTs being hacked. And it all happened through the Bored Ape Instagram's page. You know, apparently, just saying what I heard. Apparently Instagram, the Bored Ape Instagram got hacked. And then the hacker put a link to where people could buy land early. So, you know, loads of people that are into this project, they love it, they follow it. They were running to the Instagram link that they sent, trying to grab some land, trying to mint, because it showed a mint button. But what actually happened was when you clicked the mint, you know, on your MetaMask, it popped up and it said something like, I can't remember the exact words, but what it was basically saying was you was happy to transfer your NFT across to the new wallet. That was basically it. And people don't look at that stuff. You know, when you know, because it comes up, tells you a gas fee, and then you just press send, you know, confirm. If you've got a ledger, you confirm it on your ledger. But you don't look at like the data that it shows on the MetaMask. But now what I've noticed on MetaMask, is that it shows data information way before you send it in the thing. So make sure you look at the data, look at what type of transaction you're doing. Because if you're sending, it should say send. If you're swapping, it should say swap. You know, if it's transferring an NFT, it should say something where it says you're transferring something, right? And if you didn't do that, then cancel it. But going back to it, you know, knowing full well what happened here, I think that the Bored Ape team should have really handled this better, Yuga Labs. It was just, for me, it just sounded like a disaster. I got to keep it real. You know, I like to keep it real. And I was hyped about this as well. And I still am, right? I still am hyped. But since then, right? Since all this madness with, you know, hundreds of millions being lost, just destroyed in gas fees, the Bored Ape coin, because, you know, they had an ape coin, it just dropped, it crashed. It just crashed in value. What's it sitting on now? I don't know. Because that was like the main token that people used to buy Ape. I don't know how much it dropped by. Let's have a quick look. You know, it was right up here. And it just, you know, it came straight down tumbling. So, and obviously, hopefully in the future, this will be something that can come back up in price because people will use it frequently in the metaverse. But I remember looking on here at the other deeds, and I remember seeing the floor price about 7.7 ETH, 7.5. And I know this because it was about £17,000, which is about $20-something thousand. And I was speaking to some people saying, look, 21,000, should I? And I said, no, I'm not going to do it. It's just ridiculous. And why do I think it's ridiculous? Because there you go, 7.5 ETH was about $17,000. Look at the prices now. And I'm going to tell you why I think it's ridiculous. It's dropped half the value. So these land deeds that people were originally, you know, trying to sell them on for. And this was before the reveal as well, because you couldn't see what anything was. So this was before the reveal. So, it's dropped half the value, which makes me think it might still come down a bit more. Guys, I've got to keep it real. I think that the land deeds for this other deed was very overvalued. I think it was very overvalued. I think it should have been a lot more cheaper. And when I look at this now, I understand what Bored Apes is trying to do. And this is just my personal opinion, right? And you get it in every industry. I don't care which industry you're in, you get it in every industry. When I look at this, Bored Apes is trying to be this. Just straight up, gotta keep it real. It's trying to be this. It wants to be the brand, the luxury brand of the crypto space. And I just gotta keep it real. Otherwise, why are you listing your, whatever it is, even if your mint was like, 308 coins, $5,000, that's a lot for one piece of land. Gotta keep it real, because when you think about like coins like, the Sandbox, Decentraland, like you was able to buy back in the day, and I got, straight up, back in the day, look how flatline this was. And this whole time of the flatline of this price, 6 pence, 4 pence, 10 pence, whatever it is, for Decentraland, you was able to buy land, and it was cheap. You was paying, 30, 40, 50 quid. You'd be buying Decentraland manor land for like 50 quid. It was only until it recently caught on the buzz, and then obviously the price increased, which meant the land increased, right? But it was selling at fair prices. It was, and I've got to keep it real. Right now, when I look at Decentraland land and I look at the Sandbox land, I see this. I see this. And they did it a fair way. So I just wanted to share my thoughts on that. I do think that it was overpriced. It wasn't made fair in my eyes, because even with people with Bored Apes, if you had an ape, it still wasn't made fair for you because you didn't all get one. And that should have been like a thing, like, when people are spending hundreds and thousands of pounds or dollars on a Bored Ape, like, again, if you're trying to represent yourself as one of the biggest luxury brands, that should be a thing. Like, that should, you know what? You own one of our apes, take one of our lands for free. That should have been a free mint, straight up, because, they've already spent hundreds and thousands on your product already. That should have been a free mint. Because what's £5,000 if you? What is £5,000 when people have already spent £100,000? That should have been a straight up free mint. Every single person that had a Bored Ape should have got a free mint. They shouldn't have been doing none of this whitelist crap. None of this, 300 ape coins, get it cheap. Nah, give it to them for free, man. They've already spent ridiculous on your product. Because without them, where would you be? I just got to keep it real. Where would this product be without the people that paid for it? So, that's my honest opinion on that. Overall, again, Bored Ape is established. It's not going to disappear anytime soon. And I do think in the future to come, when that metaverse launches, it's going to be big. And, we will see prices of this eventually increase. I noticed that it doesn't have 10,000 items. I'm guessing they have 100,000 land plots. That's what I'm guessing, because this says 96.6k. As 100,000 land plots. It has 33,000 users. So, out of, basically, there's 33,000. They probably have 3 each on average. 33,000 people have 3 land each. Gotta keep it real. That's what I see. It's about 3 land each, 2 to 3 each. So there could have been a lot more people that got in on this if the prices were cheaper and things like that. Matter of fact, Bored Ape, with all the things that are happening in the world today, with like bridges and new blockchains and layer 2 solutions and stuff, you could have done this on like Polygon. Like, why don't you do this on Matic? I'm just saying, because if you'd done this on Matic, you could have done it on Matic. Prices would have been so much cheaper. Fees would have been so much cheaper. You wouldn't have had this disaster. Because I'll tell you what, if I'm on Matic here and the price is like, I don't know what, 50 pence, 2 quid, even at the worst when it's super congested, 5 quid. I lost a fiver. It's a fiver. But when you lose 3 grand to stand in line and hope that you get yourself a deed and then you don't get it, that's just disgusting, man. It's disgusting. So I think, I don't know. I want to know what you guys think. Drop your comments down below and let me know what you think on this. But it was just a mad one to see that all this happened alongside what happened a couple of weeks before. And I'm not trying to say anything. I'm not saying that they were involved. But to hack you've had your Instagram for so long. Why all of a sudden now, before the land deed, all of a sudden it gets hacked? Just saying, like, Not saying I'm not I'm not saying it's an inside job. It's just I'm thinking about it. Like, how long have you had your Instagram for? And now it gets hacked. And look how many of these got hacked. There was like 52 of these that got hacked. Millions in dollars that just got taken away from people. And I just want to understand something here as well. Bored Ape, if you're watching. And again, I'm not trying to be harsh or anything, but you put out a thing where you can see, you know, that the person who hacked it, you can see their address, right? You said this is the address where it's gone to, but you still know that they can sell. You know, you can't block their address because we're in a decentralized world here. You can't block their address. So if they decide to sell a Bored Ape on OpenSea for like 4 ETH, you know it's gonna sell. Does that automatically mean the buyer of that Bored Ape now is a criminal? These are the things we have to think about. Because yeah, it was stolen. But if a new buyer comes along and is just openly seeing a bid on or something on OpenSea for cheap, and you know, and they click on it, it's confirmed, it's got the tick because it's under the Bored Ape Yacht Club, and in their eyes they're getting a good buyer. Does that make them part of the crime? Because I don't think it does. And then what happens then? Do they get punished? You know, they can't use their NFT. These are the things that I seriously think about when it comes to a brand and when you're buying these things. Because I'm not saying it's going to happen again. But what happens if it happens with your land deeds? You know, these are the things that I think about before I invest heavily. And I do look at prior events that have happened before, you know, big events occur. So, you know, keep that in mind when you're, you know, buying things. I still think this is going to be an incredible product. Incredible project. And when the land, you know, the metaverse launches, it's going to be hype. People are going to be excited. People are going to want to get involved. But I just think that there's probably a little bit more room for this to fall. Why? Well, ETH is coming down a bit in price as well. You know, you want to pay attention to the ETH price because if ETH drops in value, so does the value of these lands. See, this can stay at, the floor price can stay at 3.69 all you like. It can stay there for 2 years if it wants. But if ETH is going down, if ETH drops to 100 quid, you know, that's, you know, 3.6, like 300 quid there, isn't it? So that's another thing to think about. When you're selling your land or you're buying land, you have to think about ETH fees as well because you're buying it in ETH or APE coin, which all of a sudden APE coin just dropped, collapsed, right? So already whatever you paid in APE coin has lost its value. So these are the things that I think about. What's this over here? Bored Ape Company, they managed to raise $285 in crypto for virtual land. That is mad. No, that tells me, just forget Bored Apes in general, right? Which is, it's fantastic that they did that. It just tells me that there's some serious money, you know, because that's a quarter of $1 billion. There's some serious money that wants to buy virtual land. That's all I'm saying. There is serious money that wants to buy virtual land. So when I look at all the other virtual lands coming, you know, that can probably give this a run for its money, it just tells me that, you know, you're in the right products if you're in metaverse, if you're in a product that's got virtual land. So don't be disheartened if you're seeing prices fall right now. The market's dropping. The whole market's dropping with Bitcoin. So, but there's going to come a time where altcoins shine again. I really do believe so. So yeah, I just wanted to share my thoughts on this with Bored Ape. You guys let me know what you think. How do you feel about it? Did you get in this? What's this here? Bored Ape Yacht Club creator Yuga Labs is about to sell 300 million in metaverse real estate. So it was higher than what it said before, 280 something. Did you get in on this? Was you waiting for ages trying to buy some Bored Ape? Because if you was, I want to know your experience. How was it for you? Drop your comments down below and let me know. But yeah, it just sounded like a cash grab for me to begin with. If this goes down to 1 ETH or half an ETH, I don't know if it will or not. But if it does, that could be a seriously good buy. And that is not financial advice. But I just think for the long term, it could seriously be a good buy. You know, you just pull it away, don't touch it kind of thing, just leave it there. So guys, I'm going to leave it here. Short, sweet and simple. If you liked it, please drop that like. Give me a subscribe if you're new watching. I do have a Patreon, but haven't got it all up. But you can click my link in the description. It takes you to my Patreon page. I recommend you become a patron. Why? Because things like this, I alert my patrons, keep them up to date. You can see when I buy, when I sell, when I stake, all of that stuff. And that's important things because, you know, if the market's to rise or crash, you have good strategies on when to be taking profits and buying as well. And yeah, I've got a VIP Telegram group, which is my CEO tier. Come into it. It'd be great to see you over there. We're dropping bombs, big high crypto profile users that know how to make money in this space. You don't want to miss it. The link is in my description. Click it, go through the different tiers and you can take a pick. Guys, thank you for watching. And I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Cheers.